girls out there that will shoot you just because, you know, no reason needed.
Inside the world of young women who live two lives.
Now, how can you be an accountant and a gangbanger?
I do it like on the weekend.
How they're fighting and dying alongside men.
All I want them to do is, you know, talk to him when he get older, tell him his mama was a good person, you know?
You may have seen the show that was on just before us, Kids Killing Kids, about the violence plaguing America's young people. One major factor in that violence, gang wars in many of America's big cities. Street gangs have changed in the last few years. They used to be largely all-male clubs, but now they take in young women. Vicki Liviakis reports that in Los Angeles, equal rights for gang women often includes the right to die.
But check this out. I'm going to call the first nine that's going to play.
It looks like a friendly neighborhood game of softball.
Veronica, Fanny, Paita.
But it's actually an effort to keep the peace. These women are members of LA's toughest Latina gangs. They want to stop shooting each other. So for the afternoon, they've put away their guns to run the bases. They say they're doing it for the children. You'd be surprised to learn how many of these gang members do have kids.
We got little children. The only thing I want is peace.
For girls like little CJ, a member of LA's largest gang, the Crips, gangs are a family affair.
This is my family right here. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people use this for their second family.
Her real name is Lakeisha Davis Parsi, and she relies on fellow gang members to help her raise her 3-year-old son. One of those friends goes by the name Sleepy. She also has a child, an 18-month-old boy.
I joined because I was around them and I liked them. There's my friends, you know, and I want to be a part of the family, so.
Like many gang members, Sleepy uses a street name to make it harder for her enemies to find her. And there are plenty of enemies out there. 21-year-old Dizzy is in Sleepy's gang.
You gotta have it known out there that you're also not to be messed with.
Exactly. And a lot of people, they join gangs because they think it's like protection or something. Some kind of, you know, I don't know, they think they have bodyguards or something.
Do you?
Well, yeah. Because if somebody, you know, harass me or something, I can go get my own boys.
In LA's tougher neighborhoods, gang murders increased 24% this past year. That body count hasn't scared gang mothers away. Sleepy says they're looking to gangs to give them what they need.
What do they do for you?
Say my son needed some Pampers and his father wasn't around. I can go to one of my homies. Like, well, look, the baby needs some Pampers, you know, and I don't have no money. Can you help me? And they'll do it.
When you think of gangs, you don't think of diapers, you think of guns. Little CJ says violence is not only part of gang life, it is justified.
Everybody over here has got so much hurt, got so much anger in their heart. We lost a gang of homeboys. A lot of our friends have got hurt. You know, we just got a lot of anger in us, so the first thing, we're gonna snap at it. You know, we're gonna get upset real easy.
I guess I have my 9, my beacons and my rag top 2.
Danny Girl is a rap performer.
I got my grip tucked down in my cleavage.
She's part of the same gang as little CJ, older and wiser, and maybe with a better grasp on why gang members join up and stay in.
You know, if you pull the trigger of a gun, sometimes it feels like, you know, power. It may be a power thing. It may be just hype. You know, you get hyped up off of being in a gang. You really don't know what you're getting into. And once you get into it, it's too late to get out.
This is the actually the hub of the 112 Hoover Crips. The area they had a lot of shooting-ins down the street here about 2 days ago.
Probation officer Willie Fobbs has seen the bloodshed firsthand and has tried to understand why gangbangers like little CJ might be willing to die for each other and leave their children behind.
Many times they organize some of the things that are happening within the gangs. They'll say, hey, we're gonna do a drive-by. Okay, I'll get the gun, I'll get the car.
So they're instigators.
Oh yeah, a lot of times they do instigate.
And they also look up to mother figures like Crip Jackie. At age 45, she has outlived many gang members.
You've seen a few people come and go.
Altogether, I've got about 15 obituaries, and about 7 of them were last year.
She thinks of little CJ as her own daughter.
You know, when I met her, she was like struggling to, you know, be a right, but she's got a kind heart. She always did have a kind heart.
Little CJ could have done better than choosing Crip Jackie as a role model, because over the years, Crip Jackie has accepted the gang way of life and death as one by one friends are cut down by gunfire. That's just what happened to little CJ. 2 months after we interviewed her, she was shot at point-blank range with a .357 Magnum.
Her and another rival gang member, you know, it was fighting. And I guess little CJ was getting the best of her, and her homegirl ran and brought her a gun. And she killed her. She shot her twice.
She was only 18 years old.
She had a 3-year-old little boy. All I want them to do is, you know, talk to him when he get older, tell him his mama was a good person, you know?
The boy, little Shantae, is passed from relative to relative until his father, who wants custody, gets out of prison.
The street life was her life. And then as far as her son, she loves her son.
How did you feel when you got the news?
I blew it. I stayed confined in my room for about two weeks.
Does it change you at all, losing her?
Kind of like shook me up a little bit, because it's real close. I never lost a female friend before. This the first one.
Shook up, but not badly enough to consider getting out of the gang.
This little kitty won't jimmy up inside.
As a gang member, Danny Girl knows what little CJ's friends are going through.
That's a really bad thing about being in a gang, is the hurt. And people don't understand, you know, how much love they have for one another, to kill for one another.
It may be hard to understand that kind of love, but the pull of it is strong enough to make gangbangers shy away from the future, because most of them don't have one. Dizzy is considering a real career, but is not willing to give up on the gang.
You're studying accounting?
Yeah, I want to be an accountant.
Now, how can you be an accountant and a gangbanger?
Well, you know, you could do, well, it's not like I'll be out there every day hanging out, drinking, and giving up my hood to cars that pass by. I do it like on the weekend.
It'll be tough for her to stick with it when other gang members are making so much more selling drugs.
If you're looking for a job, you can't find a job. You sell drugs, it's just a job. It's a way for you to survive.
But social programs aimed at getting rid of both the gang's profitable drug business and the gangs themselves have failed. Marianne Diaz-Parton works with gang members to help them get jobs.
We know how to recover a community. We know what steps we need to take to get there. We just don't have the people to do it. You can't give something and say you're going to help and then disappear. These kids need somebody to walk them through life.
What's the motivation to get out?
I haven't found the motivation for them to get out. They feel that there's nothing out there besides the gang. They don't want to get out. You know, they feel that as long as they're with the gang, they don't have to worry about anything except death.
What you see is probably their way of creating their own society, since this one doesn't accept them or doesn't really seem to want to help them, in their opinion. These kids are dying for something that isn't theirs. That's what's so hard to understand. They believe that those 4 blocks or 5 blocks they're fighting for will be theirs.
We commit her body to the earth.
And we put blue rags all in the casket and on top of it, and we just threw up our sign and said, "We love you." I didn't leave until they dropped her all the way. I think I was the last one, till they put her all the way down. And then I left.
The earth and the sea.
Crip Jackie, Dizzy, and Sleepy say little CJ was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. They seem blind to the irony of gang life. The organization they joined for security is the very group that could get them killed. And yet, they know each funeral might leave a child without a father or a mother.
Because I look at it like, and I feel a lot of gang members look at it like this: we all gonna die.
Los Angeles police say little CJ was one of 245 gang members to be killed in a 1-year period. That's nearly 5 a week.